Again, we are hoping this big cluster of storms behind it will race up to it and absorb it and flood it with rain-cooled, stable air and end the tornado threat, but that is still quite a ways away. Barnsdall, that's not going to make it in time. That tornado warning and that tornado is going to be really close to Barnsdall just in the next few minutes. There's a look. Here's the rotation southeast of Winona and moving toward Barnsdall, eventually up 123 toward Woolaroc. We can only hope that that cluster of thunderstorms catches this before we get this tornado-producing storm into Bartlesville. But this is a very serious situation for Barnsdall. We got a tornado down right now, lofting debris well up over 15,000 feet and incredibly strong rotational velocity. All that adds up to a strong, possibly violent tornado happening. Mike?
Yeah, and it is definitely concerning for everyone upstream all the way to the Kansas line. We'll see how long this can remain ahead of the storm. That eventually, once it gets absorbed, we'll get a bit of a messier thing. But right now, it is a highly organized supercell confirmed tornado approaching Barnsdall. Anywhere around Barnsdall, you need to be in your safest place. Not the time to be heading out and looking for a shelter at this point. You need to stay where you are, inside and away from outside walls and windows. Be thinking about your plan in Bartlesville. Be thinking about your plan even up to Copan. We want you to be ready for this, as this is a confirmed strong and very dangerous tornado at this time. Here's a closer view. The motion is pretty consistent to the north and east. This is unlikely to change until we get much more of an influence from that line, which is still back to Pawhuska and a Hominy line. And even along that line, high winds are a potential coming out from this cell as well. We want you to be aware of that threat. 70-mile-per-hour winds are possible as this continues on. All right, let's go back to that circulation. The tornado is right here, and it's probably about 10 miles at most southwest of Barnsdall. Keep in mind the radar data is just maybe a minute or two old, and you might be watching this on a stream that might be a minute or two old. So just assume this is a bit further along than what you see right here. Anywhere along Highway 11 between Avant and really Highway 99, we need you in that sheltered point. Same goes for areas around Woolaroc and Oshaleta as well. Oshaleta, hopefully this stays off to your east. But I'm going to go ahead and put on a new track here. This is going from the point of the tornado to the northeast. Barnsdall 940, Woolaroc 952, Gilland also right before that, should that take that turn a little bit your direction. So putting this off here and then jumping over to the correlation coefficient. Still debris being lofted right here. So you can see where exactly that tornado is. This is our debris indicator. It's lofting up tree debris thousands of feet into the air as it's crossing over this region, getting closer and closer to Barnsdall. We have had a tornado warning up into northern Osage County. Circulation hasn't been all that tight or as noticeable, and thankfully that has not been extended in Chautauqua County. So we are no longer in a tornado warning in southeast Kansas, just severe thunderstorm warnings. Still, I say just, winds could be up to 60 or 70 miles per hour in that location. Back towards Tulsa, all is quiet right now. Let's take a further south view, watching news cells, and yes, there's one near Okmulgee producing some lightning. Another cell that's going to be certainly very concerning, because this could also turn into a supercell. We're going to watch that cell in Okmulgee very closely. Its path would likely take it just on the east sides of the metro area should it get better organized. Something we're watching downstream, James, but not yet a severe concern right now, as it is the case in Barnsdall.
Yeah, this is a serious emergency level for Barnsdall. The tornado sirens have sounded in Barnsdall, we understand, but we still have a major tornado down right now. We just looked again vertically at high-resolution Doppler radar, and between the rotational velocity around this circulation, which is right here, look how bright those reds are right next to the bright greens. Between that and the debris signature climbing up above 15,000 feet, we're really confident that this is at least an EF3 tornado taking place right now. So that correlates it with velocity and that debris loft to get a strength on this storm. It is moving toward Barnsdall right now, an updated track, because once we move past Barnsdall, this is going to be moving up toward Woolaroc, and if it holds together, toward Fight and toward Okisa and on toward Bartlesville too. Michaela, if you check the motion on that one more time just to see if we've got an update. See if it's, okay, northeast at 40, but that is the rotation. Let's kick this over and look at debris. And this is the debris being lofted up into the radar signal down close to the ground. That is also another indication of that debris, really highly reflective. That's why we get that red center on it. But that's not rain. That is actual debris being lofted up into the radar signal from this too. So we are watching this, and it's not weakening much. This is very close to Gilland. Let me zoom in and let you see some of these county roads that we're getting close to. I'm telling you, in Barnsdall, this is a deadly emergency. You need to be in your tornado safe place right now. From Gilland down Highway 2409, that's County Road 2409, Barnsdall, Talent, anywhere north toward Bartlesville along Highway 123, as this rotating storm and confirmed tornado moving right up toward Barnsdall. We're just not far at all. Yeah, we are within just a few miles of Barnsdall here with this tornado. Maybe taking a, let me put this into motion real quick for you. And again, we're watching closely to see if by chance, sometimes in a setup like this, these circulations will turn back to the due north and then curve back to the west if they're about to cycle up a new mesocyclone or a new circulation here. We certainly hope that's the case, but man, this is really close, Barnsdall. You need to be in your tornado safe place right now. That is really strong circulation, and it's just to the southwest of town. We come in again, high resolution Doppler radar right into, what's that? All right, let's take another look. And looks like that tornado warning now it will include Bartlesville and Dewey on downstream from this. As we look, here is Birch Lake. This is reflectivity. This is very strong indication of big debris being lofted up into the storm. Correlation coefficient, there is the very dark blue. This is the outline of Birch Lake. This is Barnsdall, and this tornado is moving into Barnsdall right now. Barnsdall, you have seconds. You've got to be in your safe place right now. This is an emergency for you in Barnsdall. A major tornado moving into town right now. If you're watching on the stream, we're probably a little later than this 9:37 indicated by this radar data, but this is a major tornado moving into Barnsdall right now. And we just pray this thing lifts really quickly because it is moving right into Barnsdall. It's had a path of damage and confirmation all the way down close to Hominy. Let's check in with Fox 23 storm chaser Brandon Hubbard. That's who we're seeing on the left side of your screen. Brandon, what do you got?
Okay, so right now we just turned off a Highway 99 heading east to try to get in a better viewing area. But we've definitely seen a major uptick in lightning. We're still on.
Okay, Brandon, it sounds like your cell phone signal's just a little bit rough for us right now. Major tornado down, moving into or through Barnsdall right now. I want to expand this view because as this continues moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour, this is going to be coming right up Highway 123, right past Willow Rock, right up toward Bartlesville and Dewey. So here's the rundown. Bartlesville right now, Talent, 944, Willow Rock, 952, Phillips Ranch there, Fight at 958, Matoka at about 10 o'clock, Bartlesville High School, we're talking 10:04. There's the center of Bartlesville at about 10:06, Dewey just north of Bartlesville at 10:11. Now, long term, what will happen, this big cluster of storms to the west will absorb this storm, but until it does, there is a risk of a serious, significant tornado. There is one occurring right now. You can see it really started to rotate. We were talking about this in Northern Creek County. Tornado warning was issued, and you can see it's pretty much moved steady state right to the north-northeast. I'm afraid this has moved through Barnsdall right now. This is just a terrible thing to see. Okay, look on the shot here on the left side of your screen. What? Okay, right down the highway above that car, when we get lightning flashes, that's eyes on that tornado right now as it moves through Barnsdall. Oh, and it looks like his signal's losing a little bit of his signal, but that's the tornado. We can, that is a terrible, terrible thing to see. This is going to be moving right up Highway 123 toward Woolarock. Let me go further to the south, get an update on the Okmulgee County storm that Mike just told us about just a few minutes ago. It doesn't look like much, but that's the way the other storm started too. This is very close to Twin Hills Elementary School, northeastern Okmulgee County, north of Morris, 52 and Highway 16. And again, there's Brandon shot on the left side of your screen. Kind of hard to tell in the heavy rain that he is in, but National Weather Service has upgraded to tornado emergency. That includes Barnsdall and for Barnsdall, that tornado emergency. So, man, 35 miles per hour. Mike, let's check in with you.
Yeah, here's a close-up view of the circulation. There's Highway 11. This is right over Barnsdall right now. I hope if you're watching from Barnsdall, you're staying safe. This has got to be a scary moment for you at this point. Our correlation coefficient continues to show debris, and this is the debris ball. How high is it? Up past 20,000 feet, which is a remarkable height, and that is consistent with a strong to violent style tornado, and that debris is centered directly over Barnsdall right now. So that is something that is very concerning. If we can go to a double box right now, we'd like to show the visuals with this as well. Reflectivity. There it is. That's the edge of the hook, and it's right over Barnsdall. I'm going to go back a notch. Another track here, and this is going to show that we're going up to beyond Barnsdall. Woolarock, you are next to be, once again, in this path. The fight area, Bartlesville, you need to be in your shelter right now. This is a confirmed tornado on the ground. We hope it will lift soon with the influence of that line, but right now it's actually being reinforced by that. Before it gets absorbed, there's actually an intensity uptick with this activity that we tend to see when supercells are interacting with squall lines like you see right here. Our circulation is just, once again, right over Barnsdall, incredibly high winds. This continues to lift northeast, as we have shown you. This is this kind of unusual color here. That's a tornado emergency. These are rare circumstances where the National Weather Service is deeply concerned about locations in the path, because we know there is a confirmed strong and potentially deadly tornado, and we know there are communities in this window. So Bartlesville, you're going to be one of the next major communities up, and we think by 10 o'clock. So you've got 20 minutes at most. In the south sides of Bartlesville, even less time. It's moving northeast at 35 miles per hour, and we're getting some pretty strong outflow winds coming into Hominy as well in Pawhuska. 70 mile per hour warned for this, and this eventually will be coming up towards eventually the Tulsa metro area as well. There's our cell we're watching right now. Still some lightning, not tightly organized into a supercell, but we're going to watch this as it eventually pushes up towards Haskell, Coweta, maybe even clipping Bixby and Broken Arrow. So a lot to consider right now, but we're going to go back to our tornado emergency in Osage County. James, I'll send it back over to you.
Okay, if you are a praying type, Barnsdall needs those prayers right now, and all along Highway 123 up toward Bartlesville and toward Woolarock. There's Matoka, and the center part of Bartlesville toward Washington Park Mall, Highway 60 coming into 75 here, and then the left turn on 60 all the way toward downtown, all the way up toward Dewey. You are in this threat area. We looked just a few minutes ago at high resolution Doppler radar, and I'm going to take you through that. And first, we'll take a look at velocity. And again, this is just really a terrible thing to see. This is really right on top of Bartlesville, of Barnsdall, moving to the northeast. With the magnitude of this, and it's just part of the equation, but the magnitude here, and then we'll look across this circulation. So again, a really strong likelihood that this is EF3, possibly EF4 strength, maybe even higher. Let's go to correlation coefficient. This is that lofted debris, and it is, we've got an indication there, 21,000 feet. This is just absolutely a worst case scenario to ever see. So a major tornado has likely either hit Barnsdall or been very close to it. This is going up Highway 123 directly toward the Phillips Ranch, toward Woolarock, the Scout Ranch there, all the way up toward Bartlesville. Updated track as this moves to the northeast. Michaela, you said 35 miles per hour, right? 35. All right, let me get rid of that. We'll put that updated track on. Right here, moving northeast, 35 miles per hour. We're talking Bartlesville just after 10 o'clock. There's the update. Woolarock and up Highway 123, 9:51. There's fight at 9:59. Matoka about 10:01. Bartlesville High School 10:05, downtown Bartlesville, Washington Park Mall area at 10:07, Dewey at 10:13. This is deadly, deadly serious. We just had another report from fire department of tornado damage in Barnsdall, so we will get more of those reports. Our radio partners are with us on KRMG. Our storm team coverage continues. Storm Center coverage continues right now with a major tornado moving directly toward Woolaroc and toward Bartlesville just in the next few minutes. Between that strong rotational velocity and debris being lofted up over 20,000 feet, we're really confident we're probably looking at an EF4 strength tornado. That is a violent tornado. That is deadly. And this is deadly serious all the way up Highway 123 and into Bartlesville from the southwest. Bartlesville had that bad tornado, I believe, in 1982. This one is not far off that track. It is along Highway 123. At this current extrapolation on this motion, it's going to pass very close to Woolaroc, right up Highway 123, at least within a couple of miles either way of 123, and right up into the center of Bartlesville, eventually toward Dewey. Now, notice to the west, we are starting to get a little bit of the big cluster of strong and severe thunderstorms starting to push in on this storm. Again, it will be a little bit before it completely scours out this circulation. We may be dealing with this for 20, 25 more minutes. But again, Bartlesville, you need to take your tornado precautions right now as that continues to move to the northeast, that strong circulation. Update on our Okmulgee County storm. Tulsa, we're still in really good shape. We will likely see severe thunderstorm warnings posted soon, but there's not a whole lot of development from here just yet, southeast of the metro area. As we look to the west of Tulsa, here comes this line of thunderstorms, and we will have the threat of a few spin-up tornadoes with it, but ahead of the line, we still have this major tornado hit that has happened in Barnsdall. This is moving toward Bartlesville and toward Woolaroc right now. Let me go back to high-resolution Doppler radar. That is the rotation that we're seeing now, and again, this is already passing very close to maybe just south of Woolaroc. Very strong rotation. Okay, so it has picked up a little speed, but sometimes that too happens when we have these interactions with big clusters of storms coming in from the back, and unfortunately going at 50 miles per hour may mean it continues as a viable tornado threat for a little bit longer. But Woolaroc, Matoka, Bartlesville, Washington Park Mall, all the way to Dewey, this is an emergency. Confirmed tornado down now. Take your tornado precautions. Let's check in with Mike.
Yeah, and if you are in any one of these communities we just mentioned, it is imperative, absolutely imperative, you're in the lowest floor. More walls between you and outside will keep you much safer. You got to have shoes on. You got to have, I know it sounds silly, a helmet, pillow, something that's going to protect you from flying debris. You're going to want everything to protect you against something like this. By the way, the left-hand side of your screen showing trees down in Barnsdall. This is your first look at the damage from storm tracker Brandon Hubbard. He's going to kind of have to navigate, but he might have trouble making its way through some of the damage you're seeing. And it does appear the town, of course, is without power. In any case, let's get right back to radar. This is the path continuing its way to the north and east. You can see the locations and the times. This is actually not including some of the faster movement that Michaela just mentioned. So really right now, just beyond Woolaroc is where we're finding that likelihood the tornado is still very much apparent along Highway 123 lifting to the northeast. And still Bartlesville, you're right in that path. We are seeing that absorption of the line with that supercell. That is the good news, but the bad news in the short term is that it's continuing to keep this inflow quite strong, adding to the circulation that we're seeing. And that circulation, I mean, we are maxing out here on some of the velocities here along Highway 123, and that will once again be a road that takes you right up to Bartlesville. Correlation coefficient right here, newest update, debris is being lofted. This is not going to show us how high it is, but just that there is the presence of debris, likely over about a mile to a mile and a half wide. that could mean the tornado is that potentially wide, or at least the debris is being spread and being read by the radar as that wide. That is why this is a pretty broad threat. Even if you're not in the immediate section of this, you still could get debris that is very dangerous. And this will continue to head up even closer to a much more populated area. And so just putting the distance up here, this is going to be getting even closer to locations in the Bartlesville area. You can see where Bartlesville is. You can see where the debris is. We're talking a matter of miles now and a time of about 10 to 15 minutes. The south side of the city, even closer. There is a chance this takes a bit more of a left-hand turn. I'd especially be on guard on the west and south sides of Bartlesville right now. Be in that sheltered location as this continues to approach. I just want to give a quick update further south. We have a severe thunderstorm pushing into western sides of the metro area now. High winds are the #1 concern. That's really what we're watching out for now. Sky took this could be arriving in your location at about 10:09. Tulsa, we could be seeing the severe thunderstorm by 10:19. This is not a tornado threat in the short term, but something we're watching very closely. You see Owasso, Oologah, Catoosa, all potentially getting these gusty winds coming out from the storm. And there's our cell right here. We're watching closely. If this takes root, we could also have a supercell that could start showing broader or at least more intense signs of rotation, and that will be in western Wagner County right there. And that cell continues to produce a little bit of lightning, something we're watching in a very favorable environment for further development. And once again, we've been watching areas north of this line as well. And by the way, on the right-hand side of your screen, you're seeing some of the damage that has been coming out of Barnsdall. And perhaps if Brandon's on the line, we should go to him and tell us what he's been seeing, because this could be a sign of what is happening up the road and getting closer to Bartlesville. So Brandon, what do you have?
So we just came into town, and right now, pretty much a lot of the roads are all blocked with large tree limbs. We're trying to see if there's any actual structural damage or if it's just mainly trees. We're just having a hard time navigating actually through town itself. But we're going to kind of comb through here, make sure that there's no search and rescue or anything that needs done, and then continue on up towards Bartlesville.
All right, thank you, Brandon, and stay safe there. I'm sure there's a lot of dangerous debris around town. If you're in Barnsdall and watching us still, be very cautious. There's probably a lot of dangerous things that have fallen down in that area. So that's what's happening there. Let's go back to radar, and James is watching the circulation getting much closer to Bartlesville now. Still appears to be a tornado with it as it's getting closer to Washington County.
It is. I want to stress that Brandon Hubbard is a firefighter, too. So if there's any search and rescue that needs to be done, he will stop down storm tracking and immediately start helping people out. But that's what we're seeing behind me on the right side of your screen. He is in Barnsdall right now, and as you heard, did report quite a bit of tree damage and some blocked roads. Tornado warning continues as this storm confirmed moves up into Bartlesville just after 10 o'clock. It is 9:52 right now. The race is on between the rain-cooled air from this cluster of storms to the west and this storm moving to the northeast. So there is the rotation coming up very close to maybe just northeast of Willow Rock, and it will get undercut by the rain-cooled air. It's just a matter of how long this takes to happen. This is going to be really a large-scale push of cooler air coming into the backside of the storm, which will at least reduce a while that tornado threat. Now, oftentimes when a storm is strong of this structure, it will continue producing a tornado, or at least a tornado threat. So again, we're really telling folks in Bartlesville and Dewey, this has produced major damage in Barnsdall, a long track major tornado across southeastern Osage County, and you're up next as it slides just to the southwest of Bartlesville right now. I'm going to go back to high resolution Doppler radar too. And again, that rotation's very close to fight and very close to torpedo right now. Let me expand that view just a little bit. I'm going to go back into correlation coefficient. And again, this is probably between Willow Rock and Matoka. That is our debris right here, still being lofted up into the radar. We check correlation coefficient where we see those really dark blues. That is still debris evident in the radar. Let me tilt this back up just to see, because tornadoes have a lot of vertical motion to them. And it looks like we got an incomplete set of data there, but we're still up over 10,000 feet with this debris. So this is still Bartlesville. You need to be in your tornado safe place. Here is that circulation. Again, we look at it with velocity, very strong rotation right here. And between the debris loft, how high this tornado is throwing debris, the stronger the tornado, the higher the debris gets thrown, and the very strong rotational velocity, the brightness of these colors with the blue right next to that bright orange and yellow, it's still likely that we're dealing with a major tornado right now. So, yeah, looks like we're less than 5 miles from Bartlesville. Let me go back to reflectivity. I'm going to zoom into this. Again, Bartlesville, this is an emergency situation for you too. You need to take your tornado precautions now. Time is running out. If you're watching us on the stream, I'm saying this at 9:55. That is the radar picture we're looking at. If you're watching our stream on the app, like everybody's stream, or on the web page, the process of going digital, sending that out, you decoding it takes a little bit of time. So it may take a minute or two of delay before you see this if you're watching on the stream, which means it is super important. Bartlesville, Washington Park Mall, south on Highway 75, all the way west past the Bartlesville Airport, all the way northeast into Dewey. Take your tornado precautions right now. Let's zoom in, and this is still incredibly strong circulation, and it is moving into Bartlesville right now. We look at the left side of your screen. That's some of the damage near Barnsdall. Looks like we have no power there, but one more look into Barnsdall. This is crossing 123, moving directly toward Frank Phillips Boulevard, Highway 60. There's downtown, there's Bartlesville High School. Our team coverage continues on KRMG with Storm Center coverage. Let's check in with Brandon Hubbard. Again, he's in the Barnsdall area. Brandon, what kind of report can you give us?
I smell gas really strong.
Okay, Brandon, you're on the air with us. What are you seeing?
So we actually come to the other side of town, and I'll give you my shot here. So there's not only several large trees down, but it looks like a pretty decent-sized building is also to the ground, and we can hear gas from a gas tank that's off-gassing. So definitely a pretty dangerous situation here in this area with the down power lines and gas lines that are broke.
All right, Brandon, goodness gracious, that damage is horrific to see. Barnsdall's taken a direct hit from a tornado. Again, looking at radar, it was likely a strong tornado. This is moving. While we look at Bartlesville, I'm going to look over at high-resolution Doppler radar, and we still have strong indications that we've got a tornado down moving into Bartlesville right now. So we'll continue to show, if we can go back to the double box, have Brandon's video on one side. And again, we still have indications strongly that we've got a tornado down, and it has crossed the county line, moving up into Bartlesville right now. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit further with high-resolution Doppler radar, and this is going to be, it's moving right into Bartlesville right now. I tell you what, this is just a nightmare scenario because this is a strong tornado. It is still lofting debris, which is what we're seeing right here, and that is moving right up into central Bartlesville. There's Bartlesville, Johnstone Park, Bartlesville High School. Here's Washington Park Mall. Let me go back to reflectivity, and there is the rotation, and it is on top of Bartlesville and Bartlesville High School right now. Dewey, this is coming your way here in about 10 minutes. This is still likely a strong tornado occurring right now, right here. This is now moving again into southwestern parts of the city of Bartlesville. If you got to be in your safe place in Bartlesville and Dewey right now, as we talked about, even with that strong surge of rain-cooled air, that would not quite stop this tornado, because once these storms get this well organized, they can chug on for a while. But this is going to be very close to Jane Phillips Elementary School, White Rose Cemetery, 14th Street Bridge. This is going over the West Side Baptist Church, all the way up toward Bartlesville High School, as we said. The Frank Phillips home is going to be really close to this on the eastern edge, too. So this is a serious emergency in Bartlesville, too, with a tornado moving into the city of Bartlesville. In Tulsa, things continue fairly quiet. We go back to reflectivity. And again, you can really see how that's wound up there. That is our tornado warning right now in Bartlesville. Further to the south, we're watching this line of thunderstorms edge closer to Tulsa. I think wind is going to be the primary threat here. We're also watching a couple of storms in Wagner County, but they're a long way from becoming severe. The big story right now is a tornado moving into Bartlesville. Remember, I believe it was 1982 that we had a major tornado.